in the arena quote. I'll do a horrible job of paraphrasing it now, but it basically says that you know the man who's in the arena getting muddy and bloody, that's the person that is admirable, not the person that sits by the side and never does anything. That person that at least gets in the arena will never be in the same place as those cold, timid souls who never try anything. And I just knew that I had another gear in me. I didn't know what it was, but I knew that I had finished my work with the Yo-Yo School Assembly Company, and I did it well. And I'm very proud of what I did, but I knew that I was finished. And sometimes, Jim, it takes a type of courage to close the door on something that has run its course.
Yeah.
So what was interesting, though, is that the last 3 years that I was with the Yo-Yo School Assembly Company, I was highly involved in recruiting for our frontline positions, our performers, our mid-level managers, and then I was working with an outside executive-level recruiter to bring in top-level talent to our company as we were moving from mom-and-pop stage to legitimate small business. And you never know which of your connections are going to bring about your next opportunity. But after I left the school assembly company, some of my acquaintances who owned a staffing and recruiting firm in Seattle where I was living came to me, and they said, "Hey, Michael, why don't you come work for us for 3 months, and if you like our business, buy it because we're ready to make a transition." And that's what led me into my current adventure.
Yeah. Well, I love that you pointed out you never know what's going to lead you into your next career.
Yeah.
You know, in your next opportunity. It's funny. I'm a addict for Starbucks. I don't know why. You're a Seattle guy. You probably hate the place. I don't know.
No comment.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on air with that. But, you know, I go into Starbucks and I look at the people in line in front of me and behind me, and I just think, okay, all these people are probably going to work. Some are executives. Some are, you know, just started their job first day. Some people sitting in the chairs on their computers. Maybe they're starting a business. I've always wondered how many businesses have started in a Starbucks coffee house, right?
Yeah.
And at one point, I hired somebody from Starbucks because the guy was phenomenal. Best service, remembered my name. I just drink black coffee, so it's not like I had a special order or anything. Yeah. But, you know, I just realized he was so personable. And I always used to think, gosh, I really need somebody right now. And if this guy could just be that person, I'm going to hire him. And then I found him, right?
Yeah.
And I think it just speaks loudly to you never know when an opportunity is going to knock at your door.
Yep.
And it could be the best thing that ever happened to you. And I don't want to say that you need to be on all the time, but I think you need to be open to something happening in your life, right?
Yeah, exactly. So for me, you know, currently I own a staffing and recruiting company in downtown Seattle. And when I transitioned from the school assembly company, what I needed was a job that didn't involve traveling.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to stay in one place.
You've been around the world.
Exactly. Exactly. And I had a bazillion frequent flyer miles, and I never wanted to use them because it was a unique treat for me to stay in the same time zone for longer than 1 month. So even though I'm from Southern California, I've grown to love Seattle. So staying in the Seattle area was a big win for me. And I was ready to grow as a leader as well. So I'd been a faithful number 2 at the school assembly company for all those years. And I was ready to be a number 1 and learn those lessons. And that's what I've been able to do over the course of my career as a small business owner of a staffing and recruiting company.
What kind of pressure did you have going into that job? I mean, you mentioned they offer you to come on board for a few months and then buy the place.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, okay, let me jump all in.
Exactly. So I came in as the heir apparent. The staff didn't know that initially. So, you know, at the time I didn't view it as pressure. Again, I've learned that you just explore the opportunities and you do your due diligence. You know, I had good counsel around me, people helping me with the decision-making process, but at the end of the day, it was my decision.
Yeah.
And so I jumped in, and there's an element as an entrepreneur or someone who has an entrepreneurial mindset is that you got to trust your ability to learn on the fly, to learn on the way. And so I didn't know staffing and recruiting formally, but I trusted that I can learn what I needed to along the way. And that doesn't mean I'm going to be perfect. there are mistakes, and I've made a lot of them.
Yeah.
But I've survived them, and that's how we grow, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've talked about my past, being offered a position and saying yes to that, and then quickly learning how to do it, right?
Yes. Yeah. No, I get it.
Because I think it comes down, if you have passion for doing something and you really want to work and try hard, I think you can achieve anything you want to achieve. And it sounds like that's exactly what you did here.
Yeah. And you also know that, some risks are bigger than others. And the opportunity to take over the staffing and recruiting firm was daunting because it was an existing business. It was cash flowing. It was doing really well. It wasn't cheap. I did not overpay for the business, but it cost me a pretty penny. And so when I jumped in with both feet, I was highly motivated to make money because I had a lot of debt to pay off.
Yeah.
And you and I are familiar with the concept of luck favors the brave or luck favors the bold. There are several different iterations of that quote, but I love it because there's truth to it. And we were talking about the side story. I don't know if this is a good time to talk about the story of my brother's.
I would love to hear that because I like what you said to your dad. So please, if you can tell us that.
Yeah. So while I am jumping in and buying this business, we have to hit the pause button and go back 3 years previous. I have one brother who's 2 years younger than me and probably about 10 years smarter than me. I love my brother. He's one of my heroes. And back in, I think it was 2004, he started a business of his own from scratch. And he came to my dad and I and said, hey, will you guys invest in me? I want to start this business. And my dad was a little skeptical, but as I thought about it and contemplated it, I came to my dad and I says, you know what? He needs to know that we believe in him, whether he succeeds or not.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm in. I said, I hope you're in, but I'm in. And so I gave my brother the money that I was saving for a new car, and I said, go get him. And so hold that story. And then let's fast forward.
I love that line though. I love and I think that should resonate with people, that your brother needed the confidence of you guys, getting in with him. To go out and do what he did. I mean, I just love that. My brother invested in my business when I was raising capital. He didn't even question it, And who knows the conversation he had with his wife at home. Yeah. But, he came to me and he's like, here. And it gave me the confidence to do what I needed to do. And I just love that you did that for your brother.
Yeah. Yeah. And as part of leadership, Jim, we get to call out the greatness in others before they see it in themselves. And it's a privilege to do that.
Wow.
Yeah. So now fast forward back to me. I buy this business. I'm carrying a lot of debt, and I'm going for it. I'm just in with both feet. And on my 1-year anniversary of buying the business, so this is 2007, so it's about 3-4 years after my brother started his business, I get a call on my exact 1-year anniversary of buying the business. I can tell you where I was at. I was sitting in my office in downtown Seattle. The phone rings. It's my brother. He says, hey, big brother, do you remember that business you helped me start 3-4 years ago? I said, yeah. He said, I just sold it for $12 million.
Wow.
Phone drops.
Wow. Right. Drop the mic.
Yes.
Good job, bro.
Yeah. So my dad and I both got a pretty big check in the mail the next week, and I'm not going to lie, that felt pretty good.
Wow, that's amazing. And, again, it goes back to that line, supporting your brother and doing something that felt right to you guys.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, exactly. And I was able to put the proceeds from that immediately to work with my business. And who knew that just around the corner the Great Recession was looming. And that infusion of cash helped me make it through the Great Recession in a healthier manner than I probably would have.
Yeah. I know a little bit about how the story ends, but I'm just curious, you're in a recruiting firm. You probably see a lot of people. Are these people that you're able to give advice to and share some of your story with, or do you work at that capacity with them, or is there kind of some parting words? Hey, we got you a job. Here's the parting words. Or how does that work for you?
Yeah, well, it's when you're able to provide somebody a job, you're usually not helping just one person. A lot of these people, they have significant others, they have children, they have families. And so I love doing what I do because it aligns with my with my worldview of valuing service
Mm-hmm.
and investing in other people's lives. And so now, today I've got a team of, I've got 9 internal staff members who administrate we've got about 175 workers at about 60 different client companies around the Seattle area, making a difference.
Yeah. Wow.
And one of our taglines is respecting people, impacting business, and I believe that. That's not just a tagline. I believe it. So I view what I do as an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of families and businesses, one job at a time.
I do think that we forget that one job isn't just one person. It's the family, right?
Yeah.
It's more than that person.
And one other thing I've learned, Jim, is that, as a small business owner, we have to do a lot of things, but we don't do all things well.
Yeah.
And one thing that I learned that I learned it the hard way, and I hope that others don't have to learn it this way, but sometimes the owner or the leader of a business can be the logjam for a business to grow. And in 2016, I had a tremendous opportunity to learn that when I got in a bad snow ski accident and broke my neck.
Oh, Jesus.
C5. Yeah.
That's major.
Yeah. So I made a full recovery, thankfully.
Wow.
But I spent a couple nights in the hospital, and it was scary. It was very scary, and I had to let go. I had to let go of the reins of the business and let my staff run things. That was in 2016, and so the ski accident happened in February of that year. So the rest of the year was ahead, and they basically ran the business with me just giving input by text message, emails, and phone calls. And our business grew 20% that year.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a shocker.
Well, yeah. So I didn't know whether to feel good or bad about that. But it was an opportunity for me as a leader to practice humility and say, hey, wait a minute. What was I doing that could have been hindering this? What can I do to accelerate this? How do I empower people? And what can I do differently as a leader? And so it's been a fun journey post-ski accident to redefine myself again within my office and take on a different role to where I'm learning to empower the leaders within my office and run the business through them. I think that's an important lesson for a lot of small business owners that we don't ever get to. I love working hard. Remember, I'm the son of a blue-collar worker who taught me how to work hard, and I was doing what I knew how to do.
Yeah.
And the ski accident was, while potentially tragic, it turned out to be a tremendously wonderful blessing to my life, and I'm enjoying the unfolding of my new leadership track with my business.
Well, and you won twice. You're up 20%, so there's a huge win right there.
Yeah.
And then you also won because you saw the ability of the team that you'd been working with prior to the accident and what they can do and where they could take your business. I mean, I don't think enough people get that opportunity or are forced to get that opportunity that you were. But wouldn't it be great if, as leaders, we step back and allow that opportunity to happen sometimes?
Yeah, we got to trust people.
Yeah.
We've got to trust them and empower them. And again, it comes back to what I was saying in regards to my brother is leaders call it out. They call out the greatness in individuals before they even see it in themselves. And then make sure that we support them and resource them adequately, check in with them regularly. Those are the 3 things. Make sure they're adequately supported, adequately resourced, and check in with them regularly to maintain a good, healthy dialogue. And you will see your people grow. Or what I've also seen is that you'll quickly realize if somebody is not aligned well in their opportunity, and you can help them out of that as well.
Interesting. Well, so here the team's doing a great job. You've restructured a little bit, knowing what they're capable of. I met you at a Spartan race. I think you're at all kinds of Spartan races, so business must be great in 2017, 2018.
Yeah, business is good, and I'm able to take a little more time to explore my Spartan race hobby, and as I told you, I did 24 races last year.
So crazy.
Yeah, which was a lot of fun, and it's fun to celebrate being 50, Jim. We're both January babies. You're January 13th. I'm January 29th, and it's fun. And I'm not a big fan of the saying 50 is the new 30. I don't
Oh,
like
come
that.
on. I love